All right, guys, welcome to episode 4, season 2 of the Duck Chronicles. Today we're going to focus on the babies. Tomorrow we're going to go out and see everybody else and see how they've done since season 1. But today I kind of wanted to show you how the babies are doing. I'm doing what I call ultra low brooder time, I think is the best way to describe it. It's not no brooder, but low brooder time, as low as possible. Again, these guys are in a brooder for the first day only. And again, I'm not saying you can do that everywhere. I'm not saying it's always the best idea. What I think is based on your climate, the time of the year, and the health of your birds, and the number of your birds too. I think for larger numbers of birds, it's maybe more important to get them out of that brooder faster. You know, do it as early as possible. Maybe not as early as makes sense. So when we put them out the first night, there was really no concern when we came out and checked on them. Everybody was up underneath the heat lamp array right there. And last night we even got some rain. And when I heard it raining a little bit, and it didn't pour or anything, but it rained, I came outside and everybody was up under there. We have the cord stuck under there so the water won't short it out or anything. And everybody seemed happy. Nobody seemed to care. They even came out and played in it a little bit, went back under there and started preening. So once you got them preening, and they have room to preen, and they have a place that they can get warm, it's really okay if they get a little bit wet. Dorothy wanted to give them one of the little ponds we give them today, and I told her not yet. I want them at about 10 days old before we do that. Now, these guys are 7 days old right now. Now, remember, you have to keep them in a brooder for 3 weeks. That's the rules. Well, there you go, 1 day. And but I do think that it makes sense to make sure that they're really mobile and able to take care of themselves before you let them get soaking wet, because soaking wet is what kills baby ducklings. It really is. In the wild, though, if you think about it, by about the second day, mom's got them in the water, but mom's there with them, and mom's not here, so to speak. So they'll have to let the water suffice. Now, those are those metal feeders, and I should have picked up some long ones. I have those because they fit in the brooder, but I should pick some long ones up too. I think they're the best way to give your young ducklings water until they're old enough that you don't have to worry about them getting wet. As you can see, they shove those little heads in there. They can get their eyes wet. They can get their beaks wet, but they just don't end up soaking wet. Now, I'll tell you something. Well, they've got one stuck. Oh, there you go. Well, that's the first time I've seen that happen. At least it's on video, though. So what happened there, it wasn't that one was stuck. It's that two of them shoved their head in the same hole. And so they'll work that out. Again, that's another reason, though. Like, another thing about us and the way we're doing this, you have to understand, we are full-time homesteaders, really. Dorothy's gone a lot of times during the day, but I'm pretty much here all day long, every day. So that's another part of our decision to have them outside, is that I can constantly check on them and make sure that they're okay, that there's nothing going wrong, nobody's gone down. But what I was about to say before that little adventure right there is, as you can see, they are tearing up this grass. And this is pretty tall grass. It's got quite a bit of protein count. This is coastal Bermuda. And they're not eating that much. They're eating way, way less than birds that I kept in the brooder for a first week. I mean, like half. And everybody's growth rate seems good. Everybody's mobile. And what I'm thinking is that by growing up outside and not being so dependent on feed, it's not that they won't need feed, it's that they may be much better foragers as they grow. So we'll see how that works out, because remember, everybody's little social group kind of sticks together even after everybody's grown. Right now I can tell you the 18 cayuga mixes that were hatched in the middle of the year just by how they all hang out together still. So you can kind of see those cliques form, or I guess you'd call them clucks form, or quacks form if it's a duck, and last a while. So I wanted to answer a couple questions that people were asking about breeds. So somebody asked, why did you choose chocolate runners this time? Because they saw a little chocolate runner. Well, we really didn't choose chocolate runners. Most of these birds, those kind of olive drab color ones right there, those are little guy heading to the feeder for water right there. Those are golden layers. So they're just like the white ones, except they're golden. So they're just like the girls that we raised for the first season. We actually wanted the Goldens last year, but we would have had to wait like 3 more weeks to get the Goldens. So I went with the whites because we needed to get them into production by the summer, and it's lucky we did. We have a ton of customers now for our eggs. Then we also have, and that's probably there on the end, that little yellow one there, that's probably a Welsh Harlequin, and they're just a beautiful duck. You can look up a picture of them, just put that in Google, and you'll find Metzer where we bought them. And they are just a beautiful duck. They're kind of like, they have a mallard look with white feathering in them. And they're a great brooding duck. So we're hoping to have more brooding, because we really are probably going to cut back on the Muscovy population. I have a friend I think might be interested in taking some of them, because he's sitting on a couple 1,000-acre lake that they could just go on whenever they want to. And our Muscovies were emergency, right? We had so many egg customers, and it was laying season for Muscovies. We brought them in, and they've done a great job of brooding too, but they really don't have the high level of production year-round that the rest of these birds do. The chocolate runners, honestly, we got those because Dorothy thinks they're cute. That's what it really comes down to, and I can't really point one out on camera for you right now. There's probably right there. Right there's probably one. You can see the black feet on them. And we got those because they're cute. And we also have some buffs, or buff Orpingtons they're actually called sometimes, though I don't usually call ducks buff Orpingtons because everybody gets confused by the chicken. And we have some Rouens, and there's a Rouen right there. Rouens are the ones that look like mallards, but these are all girls. At least they're all supposed to be girls. That's what we paid for. Sometimes there's mismatching with sexing ducklings, and you get one that you didn't intend on. We know we have at least one from last time that came out that way. But Dorothy really likes the Rouens too, and they're a great bird. They are quite broody as well. So what we're trying to do is make sure that we keep some diversity in the flock, and some of it's really just for fun. But our mainstay in layers are purposefully bred as layers. They lay up to 290 eggs a year. That's a lot of duck eggs for one duck to produce. So the thing about dual purpose, if something's dual purpose, that means it excels at neither. That's what it means. So if you have two things that it does well, it excels at neither. So the layers do not excel at all at being a meat bird, but they do excel at laying, and we are in this for a living, to make a living off of it. So anyway, there's the girls for the day. Let's take a look at something over here. I want to kind of explain to you guys what we're going to be doing with the quail long term. That was the original duck shed. That's going to be ground zero for the quail, and we're going to put a 24-foot long, 8-foot wide run made out of cattle panels, almost like a greenhouse, as an aviary. It comes out like that, to about right there. And you can't really see the other side, but we're going to do it on the other side. There'll be a door on each end that we can walk into, and it'll be arched, kind of like that cattle panel you guys have seen before over there. And we're going to build a frame of 2x6s and basically make a big raised bed out of it, fill it in with good dirt, and seed it. And we're going to put the quail, the laying flock, not the ones that are over there in the little tractor. They're all destined for bacon and jalapenos in November. We're going to put standard quail caging in there. And I know quail don't like to go back to their cages, but if their food and water's in there, they'll go back there for food and water. And what we're going to train them, like we train all our other animals, to a call. Whenever they're getting new food and water, we'll say, here quail, or something like that, or ring a bell or whatever. And that'll get them kind of in the understanding, hey, there's something good going on here. And what we'll do is we'll rotate them. They'll be in here for a week, and they'll be in there for a week. And they'll be here for a week, and there for a week. And that'll basically let us have two little mini pastures. And we can obviously put in excluders. We can then also take and put small brooding equipment inside of those that'll move around like little tractors for brooding out young birds and keeping them separated from the adults so the adults don't tear them up. And those birds will always be birds that are going to be for meat, or they're going to be because the main flock's getting cold and they're being replaced. So there'll be never any conflict about the different generations. I've also been told by people that raise quail that if you do this, if you go into this aviary model where everybody has space, everybody can get away from each other, the whole thing about like this generation and that generation fighting goes way, way, way down anyway. And all you do if one bird is getting singled out and picked on, well, wrap that one up in jalapeno and bacon and get it on the grill. So that's the plan there, and we're going to be able to run about 100 quail, I think, long term there, is layers with some roos mixed in with them, and that'll give us a tremendous egg yield. We're going to start out with like 40, and we're going to slowly progress into it, just like we did with the ducks. We're not going to go, crazy with it right from the beginning, but I think it's going to look really cool. Now, this is my solution on a larger property. Again, we're working on something with some pros in caging and quail to develop a product for you guys in the suburban situations that you could, bring outside, bring back inside, kind of like a tractor, but a rack stack as well, and produce a ton of quail and eggs right in the middle of suburbia. But there'll be more on that in the future. Tomorrow, guys, I know how much you like the babies, but I think tomorrow we're going to spend time out and about with the adults. You can see some of them out there, but most of them right now are way over in the east pasture in the food forest, because that's where their pools are. Talk to you guys later.